ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Very Sat Sangat Ji, the topic of discussion today is Sangat, meaning association. Association can be with the good or even the bad. Now this seems like a trivial thing, but as per Gurbani, this will decide the circumstances we get into and the direction of our life. Moving forward, everyone has a different birthi, and people like to meet people with the same birthi. Now what does birthi mean? Birthi means a mindset, thinking, beliefs, habits, or even lifestyle. It is the thinking and mindset that crafts our lifestyle and also the direction our life takes. People like meeting people with the same birthi or mindset. It is the birthi that drives the choice of sangat that we make and the people that we choose to associate ourselves with. It is this birthi that decides the sangat, and it is the sangat that crafts the birthi, a catch-22 situation. Now, to understand birthi better, let's look at an example before we go into our topic today. Look at a birthi of someone who is broken away from Guru and Sangat. Let's examine this person's birthi. He comes to the Sangat but is restless and is not able to sit in the Sangat as he is pulled away towards the Sangat of his birthi. He is pulled away towards the false ones, the filthy ones. Now Guru says, जिनके चित्त कठोर है से बह है ना सतगुर पास उथे सच वर्तदा कुड़ियारा चित्तदास. Meaning, this person, he has the birthi of a manmukh, a stone-hearted, meaning the ones who have no effect of goodness on them, the ones filled with filth. Guru says, these people cannot sit near the Guru because where the Guru is, the truth prevails. The false and the filthy ones cannot attune their consciousness to this. Now Guru says further about this person, O val chal kar chat kat de fir jaye bahe kudiyara paas. This person by hook or by crook passes his time, then goes back to sit with the false ones again, the ones with the same birthi. Guru continues by saying, Vich sache kood na gadai man vekho ko nirjas kudiyar kudiyari jaye rale sachiyar Sikh baithe Satgur paas. He says, falsehood does not mix or mingle with truth. The false leave quickly and go back to the false ones, while the truthful Sikhs sit by the side of the Guru, which means this person comes, he is not able to sit in the Sangat. He passes his time and then he quickly goes back and joins the false ones again. Now, before we go further, let's ask ourselves, do I feel this way when I go to the Sangat of the Guru? And if I feel this way, then I need to do ardas and seek blessings from the Guru. Guru Kirpa Karna. That, hey Guru, bless me with a Guru-loving birthi. Now let's move on. To reiterate, people seek association with the same birthi. A gambler feels happy meeting gamblers, a thief feels happy meeting thieves, and a drunkard feels happy meeting drunkards. And a Guru-loving person, a satsangi, he is happy meeting a Guru-loving person and another satsangi. Kabir Ji says in his Bani, be careful when you make a choice. The wrong choice of Sangat can hurt you badly, can destroy your life, can tear you into pieces. So be careful. Kabir Ji gives an example to help us understand the association with the Sakat. He gives an example of a banana tree planted near a thorn bush. Kabir Ji says, Kabir mari maro kusang ki kele nikat jo ber oh chule oh chiriye sakat sang na her. He says, I will die a spiritual death if I associate with the Sakat. Now he follows in the next line, he says, O chule, O chiriye, sakat sangana here, which means he says, he's giving a description of the situation. He says, when the wind blows, the banana tree will sway and the thorns from the bush will tear the leaves into pieces. As the wind blows, the thorns cut the pieces of the banana leaf and tear it into more pieces. He says, just like that, stay away from the sakat. He will only bring you pain. He will destroy you. He will ruin you. Let's move on. The slightest difference in our choice can land us in a different spot. Now, how is that? Friendship with one can land us in heaven, and friendship with the other can land us in hell. Now, you must be wondering, what is this about? Now, listen to Bhai Gurudas Ji. See what he says. Bhai Gurudas Ji in his Kabit gives an example of how little things can change the direction of our life or the circumstances we get into. He uses an example of wind. He says, काहू दिशा के पवन गवन कै बरखा है, काहू दिशा को पवन बादर भी लात है. He says, just like when the wind blows from a particular direction, it brings close the clouds that give you rain, and the wind from the opposite direction, it blows away the clouds that were going to give you rain. Be careful when deciding the wind you want to follow. Means be careful when you decide the sangat you want to follow, as it can blow you to different directions. He uses a second example of water and says, Kahu jal paan kiye rehat arog dehi, kahu jal paan bhi ape birtha bilat hai, which means just like drinking water from a certain source keeps your body healthy, while drinking water from another source causes one to fall sick. He says, be careful when choosing the water you want to drink. Meaning, be careful of the choice that you make when choosing to associate with a particular sangat. He uses the third example of fire to say, Kahu grehe ki agan paak saak siddh karaya, Kahu grehe ki agan pavan jarat hai, which is just like as the fire in a house helps in cooking, but the fire raged in another house burns the house to ashes. Again, be careful which fire you want to associate yourself with, meaning which sangat you want to associate yourself with. And finally, he says, Kahu ki sangat mil jeevan mukt hoye, Kahu ki sangat mil jhampur jaat hai, which means similarly associating with some will give you liberation, will connect you to God, while associating with others will lead you to hell. Pick your sangat carefully, he says. Pick your sangat carefully. Let's look at a simple analogy to understand this. To understand how the direction of our life can change with the type of sangat we choose, let's look at a creeper for an example. If we plant a creeper next to a tree, the creeper uses the support of the tree and starts growing upwards, and one day becomes as tall as the tree and may even grow bigger than the tree, covering the whole tree. And if you plant a creeper next to a well, the creeper will grow downwards into the well. And before we know it, it's right down deep in the well. The creeper associated with the tree and grew upwards, and the creeper associated with the well and grew downwards. Our life is like a creeper. Going to Sat Sangat and associating with connected ones will help us grow upwards. And going to wrong places and connecting with Sakats will take us down into the well, into pain and sorrow. Pyari Sat Sangat Ji, Guru says, always associate with Sangat with elevated souls. Now Kabir Sahib gives 3 examples of associating with higher entities, souls, Sat Sangat or God. He uses the first example of a stream and the Ganges river. He says, Ganga ke sang salta bigri, so salta Ganga hui nibri. Which means when a small stream flows into the Ganges, it disappears and becomes the Ganga. Just like that, If a papi or a sinner comes to Sangat, he does Sangat daily, he will slowly merge into Guru and become Guru root. He gives a second example of a tree planted near a sandalwood. He says, Chandan ke sang tarvar bigreo, so tarvar chandan hoy nibreo, which means associating with the sandalwood, the tree nearby loses itself and starts to give out fragrance like the sandalwood. Just like that, he says, by associating with souls that are imbued with Naam, one starts giving out fragrance of Naam as well. Example 3, he uses is Paras and copper, philosopher's stone. He says, Paras ke sang tamba bigreo, so tamba chandan hoye nibreo. It is believed that if you take Paras and rub it on iron or copper, the iron or copper becomes gold. Now, associating with the philosopher's stone, copper loses itself, iron loses itself and becomes gold, more valuable than its previous self. Likewise, associating with spiritually elevated soul, associating with spiritually elevated souls, a person's spiritual value increases. Kabir Sahib says, just like that, my spiritual value has increased as well. He says, Santan sang Kabira bigreo, so Kabir Ramay hoy nibreo, which means, he says, when I did the Sangat of Rab de Pyare, the saints, the sants, I became one with God. Ram da Roop. Now, sometimes people think I can handle it. Nothing is going to happen to me, they say. I can be near Sangat and yet be safe. He or she thinks that he will not be affected by the Sakat. Kabir Sahib says, you are mistaken. Listen to what Kabir Ji says to us. Kabir says, Kabir, Sakat sang na kijiye, dur hai jaiye paag. Kabir says, do not associate with the faithless cynics. Run far away from them. Now, why is Kabir Sahib saying that? He tells us in the next line, Vasan karo parsi hai, to kach lage daag. He says, if you touch a vessel, he uses a stained vessel as an example. He says, if you touch a vessel stained with soot, some of the soot will stick to you. You cannot avoid it. You cannot run away. Now, Bhai Gurdas Ji echoes Kabir Ji. He says, stay far away from Sakats. Both friendship and animosity with the Sakat can cause you harm. The Sakat will not leave you safe in both situations. He will cause you pain as a friend and he will also cause you pain as an enemy. So Bhai Gurdas Ji echoes Kabir Sahib and says, stay away from a Sakat. Bhai Gurdas Ji in his Kabit gives you a few examples of how we can be affected by a Sakat in both situations, maybe as a friend or even enemy. Kabit Bhai Gurdas, he says, Koila siital kar kart syam gahai, pars tapat par dhagad kart hai. Which means, he says, when a charcoal is cold, if you take a cold charcoal and hold it in your hand, it will blacken your hand. And if you take a burning charcoal and hold it in your hand, it will burn your hand. Cold will cause you problems both when cold or when it is burning. Now he moves on further. He says, Kukar ke kaatat kale varah lage chhot, kaatat sarir pir tir na tart hai. When we return home from work, our dog runs towards us. Out of love, starts licking us. He says the licking can be contagious even when done in love. And when a dog bites in anger, it causes unbearable pain. Bhai Gurdas Ji says, both the licking done in love and the bite done in anger can bring you harm. He moves on further using an example of a pitcher and a stone. फूटत ज्यों गागर परत ही पाखान पर, पाहन परत पुन गागर हर्त है. He says, just like a pitcher, it breaks when dropped on a stone. He says, now if you reverse it the other way, it will also break when you drop a stone on it. A stone will cause harm, will destroy the pitcher in both ways. Just like that, he says, तैसे ही असाध संग प्रीत हूं विरोध बुरो, लोक परलोक दुख दोख ना टरत है. He says, just like that, developing loving relationships with evil-minded persons means loving him or further being his enemy, he says, will be equally bad for you. He will not leave you in both situations. He will affect you. Bhai Gurudas Ji says, stay away from a sakat. He will harm you in both situations, as a friend and as an enemy. Associating with the sakar, he says, you will not be able to escape from the pain and the suffering of this world and the world hereafter. Pyari Saath Sangat Ji, to conclude, Guru says having the sangat of the right people is very important. You can either grow upwards like the creeper that uses the support of the tree to grow higher, or the creeper under the influence of the well that grows downwards. This is an important choice. Make it carefully. The sangat of a manmukh or a sakat will bring you pain, sorrow, and beating from the messenger of death. And the sangat with the satsangi, with the Guru Pyara, with the Gurumukh will bring you sukh and will connect you to God. Now let's move forward. Let's look at some panktis from Gurbani that tell us about the benefits of associating with Gurmukhs or Saath Sangat. Gurbani says, Mere Madho ji sat sangat mile sutarya, Gur prasad param pad paya, suke kast harya. Guru says that this world is like an ocean of fire, and coming to Sangat will help one swim across this ocean and further help us attain supreme status, even if our soul is totally dried or dead, like the dried wood which blossoms upon receiving water. He says, just like that, our dead soul becomes alive when we come to Sangat. Another Pankti, Guru says, Mitte kamane paap chirane sadh sangat mil muwa jije. He says, coming to Sadh Sangat wipes away the sins that we have collected from a very long time, meaning even the previous births. And further, he says, Sadh Sangat mil muwa jije, which means our dead soul becomes alive again when we go to Sadh Sangat. A very interesting Pankti. Guru says, you know what happens further? Listen to this. Aap tarah sagale kul tare, which means he saves himself and all his ancestors and generations. Guru says he not only saves himself. Now listen further. Aap taraya utamb sabatare sabha srishti shadave. Guru says he saves himself, he saves his ancestors and generations, and also saves the world. Pyari Saath Sangat Ji, the choice of the kind of Sangat we associate ourselves with is going to decide what we encounter in life or state of affairs, or our state of affairs, our happiness and troubles, and the direction our life takes. Help yourself, help your children make the right choice. Pyari Saath Sangat Ji, make the right choice. Connect to Saath Sangat, connect to elevated souls, connect to Guru to save yourself, save your loved ones, and save the world. Now before I end, look out for the next discussion, which is due next week or sometime soon, on Manmukh and Gurmukh, which relates to this topic of Sangat. Pul chuk di maafi. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh.